This is Jessica.
And this is Kelly. And this is the Chasing Brighter
podcast. Today is our last book club of the year. And we are doing something alternative with our book club. We are doing a planner. Our December book is the Legend Planner. I have the hourly planner because I make hourly appointments. Which one did you get? Monthly planner?
I have.
It says it when you open it.
Oh.
Like right here. I have hourly edition. There's also like pro edition.
Oh, Pope.
What do you have? Hourly edition?
Mine says undated.
They're all undated.
Oh. Good. That's what I meant. Mine's weekly.
So if you see my old planner, I can send you links, but I bought tabs beautiful. And I did tab stickers, tabs.
You're trying to pull me back into the two-dimensional age.
To the 90s. To the 90s. And then you do stickers.
Analog age.
And then I can send you some workout stickers. I made Pilates stickers and stuck Pilates stickers in there. Kelly, I can't depend on technology to its fullest because I need a one place where all of the calendars go. Do you use it? I mean, do you trust your calendar? Because the kids sports have to sync, and my work. What happened was my work schedule, the platform that I used stopped syncing to my Google Calendar. And also for HIPAA, it shouldn't be syncing to my Google Calendar anyway. So because of HIPAA, okay. It's better for me to have paper everything, and then I can put in ahead of time all the things.
Well, I have my phone has my work, my personal, and then we have a family calendar. So it's all on my phone Google Calendar. And
do they all sync to one calendar?
I have 3 calendars in one calendar.
Okay, so they do all sync. So mine stopped syncing, and then I like to have. So what
I have today? There's yellow. That's Beckett.
Yeah, we have
blue is work or whatever.
So what happened was it's difficult to find an hourly calendar because they're almost all for hairstylists, and I wanted an hourly calendar. And I ordered this hourly calendar, not even knowing what I purchased. And now I can't tell you how many clients have purchased these because I'm obsessed with Legend planners.
Okay.
But when you open up the Legend planner, you're like, oh, I'm just going to write down something. And then you're like, what? I have to evaluate my life. And so what I love about it is it asks you these questions of awareness and self-discovery, like, what brings me joy and good feelings in life? What am I passionate about? What would I do if money wasn't an issue? What does a successful life look like for me? And I think so much, I just think this aligns with Chasing Brighter, but this is what I do in my practice, really helping people strike work-life balance. And when I went to college, we had to meet with the rector. Is that what they're called? The rector, the head of the dorm.
Yeah. And
she drew a picture of she drew a pie chart and had slices of pie and was talking about how you had to have life balance. And then when I started, as a therapist, I started asking clients, what are your life balance? Let's divide your life up into slices of pie. When I see people so many times, they have 2 slices of pie. They have work and they have home. So if work is stressful and home's not going so well, we have nothing. But if we can divide that up, and so it's so crazy that that's what's in this planner, where it talks about write down all of your dreams, 50 dreams, and it breaks down your areas of life into health and fitness, career and business, finance and net worth, family and friends, spiritual, fun, recreation and hobbies, personal development, and finally, romance and relationships. And then you go through and you write down your top 3 goals for each of those 8 things. And I think that's it helps us stay focused, and then it breaks it down to quarterly, every 3 months. What are your 3 goals for the 3 months? Every month, what are your most important goals this month? And it has, what are your work-life balance goals? It's always asking you, look at these work-life balance goals. What are those goals? And then you can reflect on each month, rating of 1 to 10. How were you in health and fitness? Right. And then each week, I love that it says, oh, they changed it for this year. It makes me sad. Oh, no, they didn't. What are your goals for this week? And it says, I'm excited about something new I want to learn. And then you review your week, my big wins, what made me happy, what are the lessons I learned, how will I improve next week? So it's just like, it kind of like breaks down all of those goals so you can chip away at them every day so it's not overwhelming, but it has you reflecting and asking those questions, you know, am I doing what I say I want to do? So if I tell you my number one goal ever is to run a marathon, and then you look at the month and you didn't exercise at all, you know, it's like, is that goal really important to you? Or what do you need to do to prioritize it, to kind of help us look at, you know, like you and I talk about in Chasing Brighter, we can lose ourselves in motherhood. You can lose yourself in your work. And how are you focusing on all those other facets of life?
I think it's really cool. I think that, you know, in terms of, you know, kind of finding a sense of purpose, I think this is a good way to really take stock of your life. And when we talk about even happiness, the idea of chasing brighter, to your point, like living your best self is living the life you want to live. And how you live the life you want to live is, you know, part of knowing what you want. And I think it's fascinating thinking about listing out dreams, and they really coach you on to list the dreams and have them be a combination of things, right? Whether it's health and fitness, career, spiritual, all those pieces. And, you know, writing things down like that really helps you. It's like saying something out loud that you didn't know that you felt or whatever. So I think it's cool. It's also like about kind of part of mindfulness in some way, Jess. Do you think, like, just sitting like each week thinking about what you want to accomplish is part
like
of
intention and purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. You're saying all the right words.
I don't know.
You must do this for a living.
I don't know if you remember, because sometimes I think you're insane because you're going to say you don't remember.
I probably don't remember, but you can try.
Okay. Does this look familiar? So listeners, I am holding up a giant, gorgeous book that looks very similar to the Legend Planner. You bought this for me for Christmas 2018.
And I bought myself one.
Okay. And
at the same time.
It's called, so you remember.
Yes.
You had a memory. I sparked a memory. It's called the Law of Attraction Planner. Very similar, but this is giant, and the Legend one we got, you know, is smaller. Yes. It's more like 5x7. But this is giant. And when you got it for me, I was like, WTF? This is overwhelming. I was not in a place in my life to be able to answer these questions. And how funny, years later, it came around again, and I was in a spot to be able to answer. Does that make sense? So like when you gave this to me, whatever was happening in my life, like, it's like, how do I want to experience life? How do I want to grow? This was so hard for me. I could not do this in one sitting. Then I got overwhelmed and quit
doing it either. I think I bought it because my friend Shauna had recommended it, and I was like, that's really cool. And so I agree. I bought you one and myself one at the same time. And I love this. I love things that have stickers.
It's pretty. It's pretty.
And it's very
similar. Like, yeah. What are your priorities? It's similar, but it doesn't.
The Legend Planner has more functionality to it.
Yeah,
right?
How something doesn't resonate with you. So funny because it definitely has the goal. I should look at this. It says, what are your 50 goals? But it says like create harmony in all levels. And it's like create a mind map for your goals. I want to go compare these because these are my end of 2018 goals. That's interesting. But it asks questions like, what are my desires? What are my fears? And maybe that doesn't resonate with me when you ask me, what are my desires? But if you say, what do I want this month? Like this says, what's your goal and what do you want? That resonates different to me. So I don't know. I felt like it was very like spiritual and whatnot. And I wasn't in a space. I wasn't in a headspace to be able to complete that. So that's interesting, right? That's like, they're the same thing. But if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
But it's beautiful. It's pretty.
I don't know where mine is.
In the
The old
fireplace.
one.
In the fireplace. Yeah.
Anyway, so this is really great. I think this is a good way. You know, the reason why we chose this legend planner is the end of the year is a great way to take stock of the year itself and kind of evaluate, you know, where you are in your life in all aspects and sort of where you want to go. And we felt like as we're moving into the new year, to think about, it's always fun when you start a new year to think about what your goals are for the year. We are both business owners too. We've got to hustle. Money doesn't just grow on a tree and fall into our lap. And so I think this is also a way, if you are a business owner, but even career people, to just sit and think about what you want to achieve. You know, when you work in corporate America, you're always writing goals for work instead of like, what are your personal goals? What are your career goals outside of the company you work for and whatnot? I think this is a great way to take stock of that. But I love, you know, fitness, travel, right? There's a lot of aspects that we think about for those goals. And, you know, if you don't set the goals, then you can't achieve them. So
yeah, I think it helps keep things front of mind. Did you read Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk?
yes.
Okay. And I don't know if you remember, he has that time audit. So like if he has this chapter and it was kind of like, what are your top goals? And then do an audit of your time. And then it's like, does your time reflect what you're saying is important? And I think this goes along with that. It helps you kind of continually identify what's important to you and then evaluate whether it is. And sometimes it's not. Like when I look, so I got this, I think March 2022, and I look at some of my goals and I think they're stupid. And I can't believe I put that in there. Like I'm already in a different headspace and I've already grown to not have it as a goal anymore. So I love the ability to continually reevaluate the goals, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking back through my notes of Think Like a Monk. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, the time audit. And then he had the money audit where you say, these are my financial goals. And then you keep your receipts for a week and see if your spending habits reflect what you say is important.
Yeah. You know, I think that the Legend Planner is a great way to sort of take stock of what you want, where you want to go. But to what you're describing, this is a tool that we like, but many books have different tools to achieve the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I like, the reason I like this is the focus of balance, right? Of the different things. And at the end, I love it. It's like a circle. It's my pie chart, because you know I like a pie chart. That asks you like rate your month using the life balance wheel. Did you maintain a healthy work-life balance? Which life areas were lacking? And that is so what I do as a therapist, right? Like what's going on, right? Like I see a lot of workaholics, and this is really a tangible way to, you know, if you're an achiever, to be able to understand what work-life balance, you know, because it's a visual guide for you. And I like, you know, what can you improve on? And for me, it's like, you know, one of my goals, I don't know if you have written any yet. One of my goals last year was, which will still be my goal this year under spiritual, will be to meditate daily. But we are doing at least that long weekly meditation with Janet, which is more than I was doing before. So to me, it's like, yeah, maybe you set the bar high so you can kind of meet a little bit higher, but sometimes my goals are a little lofty, you know?
Yeah.
But I put in there that I really wanted to run a 5K, and I don't want to run a 5K. So maybe I'll train for one real quick so I can achieve that goal.
You have a treadmill. You can just run a 5K on your treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah. I should do something with my biking because I got an e-bike last year. So I should do some.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, just broad brush for next year is to travel more. I would love to travel more. We'll see. We just finished renovating, part of our house, and then the kitchen will happen.
Yeah.
Early next year, early in February-ish. But the other thing that I did much less of last year that I am ashamed to say is I did not hike enough. I really didn't hike as much as I had the 2 years prior.
Me too. So. Well, I still have the trauma from the snake, and I'm not joking. And people may think I'm joking, but I'm not kidding you. I hiked every Saturday morning at 6 a.m. by myself. And you and I ran into that rattlesnake, and then I researched rattlesnakes, and it freaked me out. So I bet you I've only hiked. I don't even know if I've hiked 5. I mean, to me, hiking is where I drive and legit go to a trail. Right. Like I walk outside a lot, and we have some outdoor paths and stuff. But I'm talking about where I go out of my way to be in nature.
Yeah.
So that type of hiking, I don't know if I've done 5 this year. No, you and I hiked a lot. Okay, maybe it's under 10 because you and I hiked together several times. I know I
hiked a bunch when we were out there. Like anytime I come out to visit, we hike. But that would have been, January. A year ago kind of a thing.
I feel like the answer is you just have to come here more. And I need to go some Chicago. So, okay, one of my goals for 2020.
You know what we could do?
Go to Chicago with Gabby.
You know what we could do? It depending on when you guys come, by the way. I've always wanted to do the 3 dune challenge. You hike because Indiana Dunes State Park is 45 minutes from here, and you're supposed to hike 3 dunes
at one time. Is it literally sand dunes? Is it sandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's trees.
I'll do it.
In the dunes. You're hiking. It's basically like mounds of. Imagine this. Imagine you're walking through a mountain trail.
Okay.
But instead of pine trees, you have cottonwoods. And instead of dirt, you have sand. That's kind of.
It's the sand that bothers me. I do love that. What is that called? Are you a botanist or whatever? Because when we were hiking
I prefer conservationist. I don't know.
When we were hiking in Cooperstown, you were like, "Oh, just look, it's a Florus pluberbus plant." Like, well, that's wonderful, Kelly. What? Let's get a sample.
I think trees are really cool.
Well, I do too, but I don't know. I don't know the name of them. So when you're like cottonwood, it's like I can't envision
when Grandma took us. Remember Grandma Martin when we had to make our tree book? I still have mine.
Totally. Where we'd keep
it's like one of the few things I still have.
Wax paper. No, I have no idea. I don't have a tree book. You're probably older than me. Maybe I ate my tree book. I don't know. I was probably like 5.
That's true. But we walked through town and she picked out all the trees. But
leaves, and we'd label what the leaf was. I just remember an oak leaf.
I mean, I can be super nerdy. Did you know that American chestnut was like extinct because it was when logging came, they cut a bunch of them down, and then they were killed off by the Asian
beetle.
No, some sickness, some tree sickness. And so all the American chestnuts died. And so then some parts of the United States, they've done conservation to like bring them back. So the Field Museum here has a bunch of trees. It's like an area that's like a tree museum-y kind of thing. And I like watch that. I probably shouldn't talk about this. We can edit this out, right? Because people are like, she's weird.
We're keeping
I think it's part of my Native American gene is like thinking about trees. But anyway, crazy digression. Going back to
I'm fascinated because what I want to say is I used to take the Girl Scouts for hikes, and maybe people don't know. I need to look what it's called. But those things hanging from trees and they're like pods and they turn brown.
Yes.
And then you can open them up, there's seeds in them.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over Colorado. That's a parasite. And that, I forget what it's called, but they're on all these different trees. And I realized, like, wait, that's a different tree that those are hanging from. And that's because it is a parasitic plant and it only can live off of other trees. So that's my only nerd fact. But I think maybe you need to put that in their hobbies and recreation, Kelly. More conservation, botany things.
Yes. So definitely got to do more hiking next year. There's a lot of trails around here, and I used to go by myself as well.
I'm really, really feeling that there's no time. I'm struggling with this whole time thing. And it might
be if because, you get your goals and you get your priorities straight, and then you do those things.
But something has to give, and I have to work for money. Because my first thing is like, bam, work less.
Plus, you need to sleep. So
yeah, but it gets dark here by 4:15, so I think that's probably why I'm feeling less time. You know what I mean? Like when it's summer, you can hike after work, or you can hike with, like I do. I guess maybe I hike a little bit more than I think, because there is a trail, Lone Mountain, where Gabby practices, where I do get on that trail. People ride horses and whatnot over there. But I can hike while she's at practice. So you're right. I can add that in. I can look at that. I might want to quantify that and monitor to see how many hikes I can get in. But a great example. Every year, I don't know what I put for my financial goals, but I think I need to, as I think many people do, get my finances in order. When it says finances and net worth, I think a lot of people have an unhealthy relationship with money, or, like not understanding money. And so that's something I would like to put in there. At one point, I mean, I think I read a couple Susie Orman books in my 20s.
Me too.
But for me, I put like work with a CPA, which I still have not done. And then this is so cool. I was thinking about having this guy on the podcast, but I have a client who works with a financial planner, and both of his parents are therapists. And so the way he addresses financial planning is he also looks at like your life. And so he had recommended, he will kind of recommend that you have like a passion project or things that you're doing for fun. And like, I think that sounds really awesome, right? That he's like, not just, he doesn't want to work with you. And if you're like working all the time and saving, he would be like, hey, let's make sure we're engaging in something passionate as well. So that's cool. So I don't know, a CPA or a financial advisor or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Do you want somebody to do your accounting, or you want somebody to help you build wealth?
I want
technically
someone to help
a
me build. Wow,
CFA is certified financial advisor.
Okay.
Just
we worked with one a while ago because there's an account we have, and I mean the guy was kind of like, oh, it looks good, you should invest in these things. The end. So I think I need something
tough because a lot of financial advisors, they're associated with a certain company, and those certain companies' funds, and so it's hard to like figure out, like essentially you're helping that person make money.
Yeah. I think I should also put on there. And I think you're right when you say build wealth. Really, honestly, I've gotten very bad at budgeting. I think a lot of people do. And I need to go. I used to be so good. And that's when I wasn't really making any money. So that's why I had to budget so tightly, or I would just get money. I would literally get cash out every 2 weeks. And so I would like to do like a budget of some sort, of being like, okay, this is your spending limit, the end kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what I put, is like spend less, save more kind of a thing right now. I know that part of the goals need to get more specific. And we don't have, I don't have like, not like the example was like buy a house. Like we don't have any major, kitchen renovations, I suppose, are big. So I got to figure out maybe how to make the goals specific, right? Goals need to be like specific, achievable.
Yeah. Like I put in here, hike once per week.
Nice.
I did not do that. 1 girl trip per year. I did not do that. We can count. I'm going to count Cooperstown. I get a half a point for that. On romance and relationships, 2 out of 3. Just as I'm looking at last year, it's interesting. Like I like looking at it, and like it's like I'm proud of myself. For spiritual, I really put books I wanted to read. And then for personal development, they're kind of like the same for me. But for personal development, like I want to see our spiritual healer once a year, which I did that, work through the 4 agreements, because I read the 4 agreements, but I want to continue prioritizing that because I think it's an amazing book. And I put on here consistently meditate daily. So that was a fail. On health and fitness, I put lose 30 pounds, which is hysterical because I am not dieting this year and I am working hard to love myself. So I don't know why I put like something like that on there, because that's not really in line with where I'm trying to work on body compassion and self-love. So that's interesting that I put that on there.
Yeah, I have for health and fitness is to golf more. So I know I need to get more specific, but I did a golf league I've done a golf league the last 2 years, and last year I didn't golf as much, and I just need to get back into it. I think it's a great form of exercise. It's low intensity. And I think it's a great way for me to get outside too.
Well, and like you're saying, maybe that helps with accountability. I think we have to learn about ourselves. And if I said golf more, I wouldn't do it. But if I joined a league, I totally would.
Yeah.
People would be counting on me. I think on there, I'm going to put Pilates 3 times a week, which I'm still struggling with. Like, here's why I can't get to Pilates 3 times a week. Here's my schedule. I schedule Pilates out 8:30 Monday, 8:30 Wednesday, 9:30 Friday. Get an email from Gio's teacher. Giovanni's getting an award 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So my entire schedule was booked out based on me going to Pilates.
Kids get a lot of awards, by the way.
They do. It's just
achievers.
And it's so hard. It's just so hard. No, but every kid's different. And I know Giovanni will be looking for me. Like, it's not something maybe some other parents could skip. But at this point,
no, I wouldn't.
This is my third kid that he's looking for me.
Yeah, well, if the school's doing that and they're inviting parents, how could you?
Yes. And so thankfully this week I didn't have my first session until 11. So I was able to pick another Pilates class. But anyways, that's what happens to me. And so I'm trying really, really hard to get the 3 in. And then I know I'm going to want to do yoga in there somewhere because I turned 44 and my body is breaking down. I'm just finding like I know it's from stress, but very tense. I'm very, very tense. So I used to do yoga not necessarily going to a studio, but just like some stretches at home or something. So I've got to get some stretching going on in there. And I put on there, and you talk about quantifiable regular date nights. What does regular mean? Because if you went on date once a year, that's regular. And then I put on here 1 couples trip a year, which we did do that cruise. So I'm going to count that.
Yeah, you guys
for
did
romance and relationships, I want to do 1 trip. I don't even care if that's like you and Brian, like the boys went to their grandparents' house. That's almost, you know what I mean? Like alone, like maybe weekends away or weekends alone or something. And then I need to put on there, I think 2 dates a month, I think was what we were probably.
Yeah, I think 2 dates a month is a good goal. I'm going to put that on mine too.
Yeah. And like when you're dreaming, I think I put physical intimacy once a day because you're dreaming. I'm dreaming. I'm just making up these dreams and it's like daily if I set it up high, but I put like on my dreams too, like love my body, good reciprocal relationships, which is interesting, right? Like that we're in relationships that are a give and take. I put crafting regularly, growing spiritually.
I see somebody on
healthy.
The example has to get over fear of flying. So maybe you should get over your fear of snakes as one of your dreams.
I should get over my fear of snakes. I have a healthy fear of rattler snakes. Where's your fear of snakes?
I don't have a fear of snakes. There are not any. So the year of COVID and when you and I started hiking regularly, I saw snakes all the time, but they were not deadly snakes.
How were they? Because you've always not liked snakes.
Garter snakes.
So are you
I saw
over that
A ton
now?
of garter snakes. It was the weirdest thing. I never
pick 'em
seen
up?
them again in my life, but I
Wait,
saw
what does snakes mean? Is there a meaning in that? Did you look it up?
it is. It's change.
Okay. Change is coming. Okay.
Well, it was COVID. It was a lot of change.
yeah. Yeah.
I think the reason I saw more snakes is because less people were places. And so I think animals expanded their radius. And I think then you see more wildlife than you normally would have, if that makes sense.
So what happens is rattlesnakes bathe in the sun at about 80 degrees
I'm
Fahrenheit.
talking about general snakes.
Yes,
We're really going to go
right.
down the
No,
rattlesnake.
yes. So you got to talk about plants. So they bathe in the sun early in the morning. And so when it's hot out here in the summer, that's when you go for a hike, right? You go up at 6 a.m. and that's when they're all out. So then I was like, well, what happens to snake in the winter? And they say, oh, they hibernate in a den. So in the winter, there are holes underground with dens of snakes.
Did you
That didn't
ever see
help
that
my
video?
winter. No, thank you.
Oh, I'm sending
Kelly,
it to you.
It's not helping. No, thank you.
Oh, it's the
It's a
most
den of snakes.
incredible video.
You're a liar.
I am not. It's
It's
I made
incredible
the-
if they talk and dance.
I recorded the Great Northern Canada nature show, and it was like 6 episodes, and it was very interesting, and it was all about the animals of Canada. And I got to this point where I was like, why am I watching all this? This is really dumb. The next scene was life-changing. I'll never forget. All the garter snakes in like Saskatchewan, they are underground in this giant cave. And when spring comes, they all come out together. And it is like thousands. They live in it's like a pile of snakes. They just
Yes,
like live
that
underground.
was what I imagined a den of snakes was.
Yeah, it's this, but they're garter snakes. So the thing is I wonder, no, that is one of my bigger fears is being, you know, thrown
I'm gonna
into a pit of snakes.
swear to
Indiana
God,
Jones.
I'm gonna find where you can see a den of snakes, and I'm not gonna tell you. I'm like, let's go on a trip. Where are we going? And you're like,
Yes,
isn't it wonderful?
This is
it amazing?
incredible. I will send it to you, and you need to show the
Incredible.
kids because people need to know where are the garter snakes in the winter. I know where they go.
Oh,
They
so
all go
then
in
it's
that
like,
one hole up there
it's
in
like, you're
Canada.
like, I can go anywhere in the winter because all the snakes are in Saskatchewan.
Yes.
But anyways, that's what made me think, well, in the winter, that doesn't help me that they're hibernating. And what if I accidentally trip and fall into the hole where they all are?
No, because it's deep. It's got to be really deep where it's warm for them because they're
Okay. Oh,
cold-blooded
all right.
animals, right?
And I do have to say, the snake rattled, right? So
Well, he was coiled up, ready to
Was-
attack us. We weren't paying
so
attention.
it's not like I'll just haplessly go into it. I will hear a rattle, which is nice. Thank you, nature. Thank you, Mother Nature.
Also, he was right on our trail. Also, you now have walking sticks. This is why you should have
Yes.
walking sticks.
I forget them, but you're right. Because so anybody out there who also has a fear of snakes
And is still listening to this episode.
you're still listening to this titillating episode of nature. A rattlesnake or a snake can launch up to a third of its length. That's how far it can attack or reach out, and they will attack the thing closest to them. So when you see a snake, you put your hiking stick out in front of you and then walk backwards slowly.
Also, something else that we learned after researching the snake situation
Yes.
when we returned was that you also should warn other fellow hikers about said snake that you had seen instead of running really fast past everybody, not saying
Letting
anything.
everybody else know. But I do have to say, we've said this before. This was June 2020, COVID time. So this was when we'd wear like a gaiter hiking, and then when you'd pass other hikers, you'd pull your gaiter up. And so it was also like when people were like avoiding each other
The mask.
and afraid
Yeah.
and not talking to each other. And so I know when we saw other hikers, we like probably turn, you like turn sideways and pull your mask up. And
We hiked, the boys and I did Red Rock when we came out another time during COVID. Actually, was that the same trip? Maybe it was. And it was really hot and it's a lot. We took a course that we did a lot of scrambling, and I didn't realize until later on that you need to be really careful with scrambling in the heat because the snakes go into the like shaded spots. So if you're putting your feet or your hands in small holds to like climb up something or big cracks or whatever, that snakes could be in there. So I could have dyed that as well.
I are working against my goal of not having a fear of snakes at the point. There's like more places for them to hide. So that sucks. Yeah, but I think it just gets, to me, this gets me excited when you get like a brand new planner, and the Legend Planner is beautiful. You'll see our blog post about it. We also have a reel about it, and it's also, you know, aesthetically pleasing and gets you kind of excited about, you know, life is an amazing journey, and there are so many things that you can do. Life is totally open to you, and what brings you joy, you know, and what are things that you want to improve on. And I think this is an awesome way to start out a new year.
I totally agree. If you are joining us on our journey of self-discovery, this is an absolute key tool for you to use as you continue on your journey as well.
Yeah. Enjoy this holiday season and Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening and joining us today.
And don't forget to follow us on social media at Chasing Brighter or on our blog, chasingbrighter.com.